presentation today entitled Free. Welcome, Bud.
I didn't make it through Amazing Grace. I'll see how I do on this. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Why would I pick this? Well, I didn't know for sure, so I had to do some research. Found out a lot about grief, a lot of theories, 4 steps, 4 stages, 5 ways, blah, 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 blah. One that supposedly was seasoned in their research came to the conclusion that there wasn't any definitive pattern to human grief. The parameters of human grief go all the way from what's called resilience, no tears, just goodbye, and extensive grief, where we repeat over and over again the loss, and sometimes really beats up on us. Sometimes we need help. And the thing that came through for all those people that might need help getting through their grief was that they would be blessed if they found somebody who didn't try to fix it, who could simply accept their unique path through their grief. We're each unique. Our grief comes in its own way. If we're going to be helped, it has to be in this somewhat mysterious permission that we get from another human being who says, I hear you. I understand. I accept what you're experiencing, whatever that might be. And the key to working that through supposedly has to do with us feeling the same way about our grief as that other person does. That we accept, that we embrace. We embrace the now. And now here's a mystery for you. Because I'm thinking that right here in this precious moment that we can't even understand, like what is now? You know, there's the past, there's the future. Now, what's it about? Right in the middle of that now, there's this good grief. As we let go of this moment, and this one, and this one. And embrace the now, ever reborn. In the moment of our now. As I did my research, I thought, well, I could get into a whole bunch of stuff, nomads and memorialists and normalizers and activists and seekers and the bereavement science. But when it came right down to it, I'm afraid I'm a bit of a Charlie Brown. I admit to it. I'm a bit of a sucker. Not too far from sucker to suckerance. And if I had to have a fault, I'd like to be on the side of a bit of a sucker. Ready to be taken advantage of, just a little bit. According to somebody who said that perhaps it's not only poets who are the acknowledged legislators of the world, as Shelley suggested, but perhaps in our age it's also the cartoonists. Comic strips are often modern-day parables which yield eternal truths about the human predicament. They go on to say that World War II cartoonist Bill Malden likened Schultz's impact to that of Gandhi, having had the same messages conveyed. Love thy neighbor even when it hurts. These words, these quotes that I'm going to be sharing with you were put together by Richard Gilbert, a retired UU minister, who thinks that there's some worthwhile theology in peanuts. Schultz considered his work far from more than a job. It was a vocation, he wrote. If you do not say anything in a cartoon, you might as well not draw it. Humor which does not say anything is worthless humor, so I contend that a cartoonist must be given a chance to do his own preaching. Do his own preaching. I invite you to recognize that each of you is a preacher. Do your own preaching. His medium was the cartoon. His subject matter was often explicitly religious. Lucy is jumping rope when younger brother Linus asks, "Do you ever pray?" Lucy, that's kind of a personal question, isn't it? Are you trying to start an argument? I suppose you think you're somebody who's pretty smart, don't you? I suppose you think... Linus, his blanket in his hand, talking to Charlie Brown, "You're right, religion is a very touchy subject." Much of Charlie Brown's themes have to do with suffering. Charlie Brown, 9 home runs in a row, good grief. What can I do? We're getting slaughtered again. Schroeder, I don't know what to do. Why do we have to suffer like this? Schroeder, man is born to trouble as the sparks fly upward. That's a famous quote from Job. And he's reminded of that when he says, "What?" He's quoting from the book of Job, Charlie Brown, 7th verse, 5th chapter. Actually, the problem of suffering is a very profound one, and if a person has had bad luck, it's because he's doing something wrong, says Lucy. Schroeder. That's what Job's friends told him, but I doubt it. Lucy. What about Job's wife? I don't think she gets enough credit. Schroeder. I think a person who never suffers never matures. Suffering is actually very important. Lucy. Who wants to suffer? Don't be ridiculous, Schroeder. But pain is a part of life, and life's. A person who speaks only of the pages of Job reveals that he knows very little about the book. Now, the way I see it, and Charlie Brown, good grief, I don't have a ball team, I have a theology subject. Charles Schultz is a thoughtful theologian. He notes the finitude of, how do they say that? Finitude or finitude? Thanks, Joe. He talks about the finitude of human nature and the apparent indifference of God. As one observer quotes, "It's not so much that bad things happen to good people in Peanuts. At least in the Bible, God is testing Job. In Peanuts, bad things happen for no reason at all." Schultz didn't suffer religious fanatics gladly. He gently spoofed those intent on forcing their religion upon others. Sally and Linus are walking to school. Sally, I would have made a good evangelist. You know that kid who sits behind me at school? I convinced him that my religion is better than his religion. How'd you do that? I did it with my lunchbox. Then the tables are turned, and Sally resists efforts to get her to change her church. A little boy comes to the house to talk to her. "Hi, I'm from that new storefront church a few blocks up the street. Would you like to come to our church?" "I already have a church." "We have good singing." "So do we." Do you sing Blessed Assurance? Do you sing Sweet Hour of Prayer?" Little boy, "We give our money in envelopes." Sally, "Who cares?" Little boy, "My dad's the preacher." Sally, "Good for him." Little boy, "He says the world is coming to an end." Sally, "I feel that way every time I get on the school bus." Little boy walking away. "Anyway, you know where we are." Sally, "I'm always here." Those deep theological discussions wear me out. Here's one that is considered decidedly Unitarian Universalist in tone. Sally presenting a paper in school. "My topic today is the purpose of theology. When discussing theology, we must always keep our purpose in mind. Our purpose as students is understandably selfish. There is nothing better than being in a class where no one knows the answer." According to Robert Short, in the Gospel According to Peanuts, is clearly a Christian, but I submit he is a Christian of distinctly liberal bent. He was not afraid to mock the hypocrisy and the pretensions of dogmatic religious faith. I do not claim him as a Unitarian Universalist, but his gentle openness to humble foibles is his hallmark and ours. Not everyone agreed with his religious sensibilities. As Linus said, religion is a very touchy subject. Schultz received this letter in response to one of his religious perspectives through Peanuts. "Sir, even if your personal philosophy is at odds with the majority of this country, which was founded on the Judeo-Christian ethic, can you not control your urge to lead astray our little ones and proselytize instead your adult peers who can better defend themselves?" sneaking your anti-Jewish, anti-American philosophy into the minds of hapless children, the comic strip is just plain dirty fool. I would not want to be in your shoes on Judgment Day. Jesus Christ said that people who lead astray his little ones should be cast into the sea with a millstone tied around their necks. An apology is due America, Schultz commented, as Linus asked of himself, what was all that about? What is it all about? For Charles Schultz is all about doing what you have to do for meaning in life. I'll repeat. Charles Schultz. For Charles Schultz, it's all about doing what you have to do for meaning in life. Why do musicians compose symphonies and poets write poems? They do it because life wouldn't have any meaning for them if they did. That's why I draw cartoons. It's my life. There's the theme by that. Charles Schultz didn't often dabble in political issues. However, one cartoon makes a statement especially poignant on Mother's Day. Charlie Brown, yes ma'am, I've come to renew this dog's license. And the dog rattles off a bunch of letters. Charlie Brown, she said not to worry, you don't have to take an eye test. Snoopy, I wasn't worried, this eye is even better. And most of those are usually thought bubbles, by the way. Charlie Brown, yes sir, there seems to be a mistake. We came for a dog license, and they've given him a temporary driver's permit. Do I think he could pass the driver's test? Section 203, and then this is Snoopy again, bubble thought. Section 203, the turn signal should be activated before the vehicle enters the intersection. Charlie Brown, well, you never know. Yes, ma'am. Well, originally I came in with my dog to get him a license. He also got a driver's license and a fishing license. No, she said you don't need a license for that. Charlie Brown walks out, followed by Snoopy, who is carrying an assault weapon. Charlie Brown, sometimes at night I lay awake and I ask, why me? And a voice answers, nothing personal, your name just happened to come up. Charlie Brown, life isn't easy, but with all its problems, he has found a unique way to cope. Linus asks him, life is difficult, isn't it, Charlie Brown? Yes, it is. But I've discovered a new philosophy. I only dread one day at a time. Gee, I get depressed easily. I don't know what's the matter with me. I just don't know. Sometimes I think my soul is full of weeds. Charlie Brown's friend Lucy is a fussbudget, the great curmudgeon, the eternal skeptic, the prototypic cynic. She has a way of taking the wind out of your sails, as Schultz said. Lucy comes from that part of me that's capable of saying mean and sarcastic things. Linus is eating a sandwich and looking at his hands. Lucy is watching him skeptically and listens to him intently. Hands are fascinating things. I like my hands. I think I have nice hands. My hands seem to have a lot of character. These are the hands which someday might accomplish great things. These are hands which may someday do marvelous works. They may build mighty bridges, or heal the sick, or hit home runs, or write stirring novels. These are the hands which may someday change the course of destiny. They've got jelly on them. Lucy is mystery wrapped in enigma. She demonstrates the peculiarities of human nature. Linus asked her, when you get big, do you want to be somebody great? That's an insult. An insult? I feel that I'm already great. By the time I'm 18, I expect this world to be perfect. Why should I have to live in a world somebody else has messed up? I'll give them 12 years to get everything in order. Charlie Brown, what if they need more time? Tell them not to bother wiring for an extension. The answer will be no. Lucy is a fascinating character. She has a 5-cent psychiatric clinic and a lemonade stand. Lucy fancies herself a counselor, yet often needs counseling herself. She confides in Charlie Brown. Sometimes I get discouraged. Charlie Brown, well, Lucy, life does have its ups and downs, you know. But why, Lucy says. Why should it? Why can't my life be all ups? If I want all ups, why can't I have them? Why can't I just move from one up to another up? Why can't I just go from an up to another up? I don't want any downs. I just want ups, ups, and ups. I can't stand it. Sometimes it is Charlie Brown who confides in Lucy. He approaches her in her counseling booth. The doctor is in. Charlie Brown, I'm in sad shape. Lucy, good morning, sir. Sit right down. Charlie Brown, fine. I was afraid I might need an appointment. What can you do when you don't fit in? What can you do when life seems to be passing you by? Lucy, follow me. I want to show you something. See the horizon over there? See how big this world is? See how much room there is for everybody? Have you ever seen any other world? Charlie Brown, no. Lucy, as far as you know, this is the only world there is, right? Charlie Brown, right. Lucy, there are no other worlds for you to live in, right? Charlie Brown, right. Well, live in it. 5 cents, please. Charlie Brown, life is like a deck chair on a cruise ship. This is Lucy talking. Passengers open up these canvas deck chairs so they can sit in the sun. Some people face their chairs facing the rear of the ship so that they can see where they've been. Other people face their chairs forward. They want to see where they're going. On the cruise ship of life, which way is your deck chair facing? Charlie Brown, I've never been able to get it unfolded. During another counseling appointment, Lucy says to Charlie Brown, discouraged again, eh, Charlie Brown? You know what your trouble is? The whole trouble with you is you're not you. Well, what in the world can I do about that? I don't pretend to be able to give advice. I merely point out the trouble. Charlie Brown, I have deep feelings of depression. What can I do? Snap out of it. 5 cents, please. It goes on and on. It's lovely stuff. There's a couple here that I think are worthwhile that I'll just finish with. Sometimes I wake up at night, Charlie Brown, and I ask, is life a multiple choice test or is it a true or false test? Then a voice comes to me out of the dark and says, we hate to tell you this, but life is a 1,000-word essay. But no collection of peanuts would be complete without the problem Charlie Brown has with love. Charles Schulz, who himself was once rejected by a redheaded girl, once remarked about the presence of so much unrequited love. Sally loves Linus, but Linus can't stand her. Lucy loves Schroeder, but Schroeder can't stand her. Charlie Brown loves the red-haired girl, but doesn't even dare to go near her. There's something funny about unrequited love. I suppose it's because we can all identify with it. We've all been turned down by someone we love, and it's probably the most bitter blow in life. Charlie Brown, that little red-haired girl has lots of friends. I don't have any friends. They say opposites attract. She's really something. I'm really nothing. How opposite can you get? Linus meets Charlie Brown in the hallway at school. Where are you going, Charlie Brown? The teacher wants me to see the nurse about my eye. She saw me winking at the little red-haired girl. She thinks something's wrong with my eye. How am I going to tell the nurse? I never knew love could be so much trouble. Linus has trouble with love, but Charlie Brown, ever the theologian, has an answer. Linus, she was so cute. I used to see her in Sunday school every week. I used to just sit there and stare at her. Sometimes she'd smile at me. Now I hear she switched churches. Charlie Brown, that'll change your theology in a hurry. So, Charles Schulz changes not our theology, but our way of looking at things, including ourselves. Not too long before his death, he wrote, a short while ago, the phone rang in our house about 7:15 in the morning. My wife, Jeannie, answered it. It was a young girl calling from the Midwest. She said, my friends and I are having an argument. Is Mr. Schulz still alive? Jeannie said, I just saw him in the bedroom about 10 seconds ago. So the girl said, oh, well, I guess I lose that bet. Finishes with the tribute. But we have won. We have delighted in the wisdom of a man who drew children and put words in their mouths, words also familiar to us because they are much like our own. Schulz had a clause in his contract that the trip would end at his death. In his farewell script, which appeared the day after his death, Schulz wrote, Dear friends, I have been grateful over the years for the loyalty of our editors and the wonderful support and love expressed to me by the fans of the comic strip, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Linus, Lucy. How can I ever forget them? How can we ever forget you, Charles Schulz? You are gone, but Peanuts lives on, and we are grateful. And I am proud to remind someone of Charlie Brown. That's my last statement about that. I do remind people of Charlie Brown, and it's my privilege to do so. Earlier, we looked at the connection between the destruction, the goodbye, and the moment that welcomes the next moment. At the largest scale, this connection seems to imply that we cannot move into a new venture or relationship without some form of destruction associated with where we have been. This destruction implies a loss, and a loss is processed through a process of grief. Good grief is the grief that allows us to move forward by letting go of the past. Whether that is a past relationship, activity, or at that minute level, letting go of the moment. The now that constantly disappears into the past and that allows us to welcome the future into this precious, sacred now. There is no right way that fits for everyone. There is only each individual's way, and it involves embracing the moment even while we let it go. I invite you to join me in letting go even as we embrace this moment, so that together we can create a future in our next ever greater, ever more precious, ever more sacred now. May we create that future together by letting go so that we might